Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN. Big up to everyone that's locked in. And today we got Daps from Never a Foul. What are you saying, my bro? Long time.
And we are the South Stand as well now. Yeah, man. I'm all good. How are you?
All good, yeah?
Yeah, man.
I'm good, man. I'm good. This, the international break is a nice little breather away from Arsenal, man. You know what I mean? I can't lie.
This season is a nice little breather away from City as well.
Well, let's get straight into it because I'm seeing these reports about Florian Wirtz, 125 million pounds.
I heard they said 100 million is what they're looking to.
It's varying around the 100.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
What are you saying, bro? I think
we must make it. It's essential. It's like it's a must. Like it's not even a question. We must go and make it happen. It's like, for me, I've been saying it for months now. When we were obviously City's fan base have been gassing about Wirtz and Musiala and how we need to get them for probably about a year and a half. But the Wirtz one more than ever now is like, Musiala not so much, but Wirtz we need badly. Like, if we don't, I don't know who we go after, but we need him. It's one of them ones where whatever we have to pay, we have to go and just fucking get the deal done. And I think we do, by the way. I think it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I know Zid, that's a Bayern Munich fan. He watches Wirtz every week, and he said he's cold, man. He'll take him at Bayern Munich. Everyone that watches that league or watches him says he's cold. When I've seen him, he's cold as well. But when you're more focused on the Premier League, there's only so much. Yeah, 100%. I don't watch too much other football, so I go off what other people say. And then obviously, if I do get to watch more time plays in the Champions League or plays in internationals, but I don't watch. I can't act like I've watched loads of Wirtz, but for me, he's one of the most creative players out there at the moment on the market. We have to get it done, bro. Because it's needed. It's very, very needed. He is not a De Bruyne replacement. As far as he's not like carbon copy Kevin De Bruyne, but he's probably one of the closest things we can find to. So,
yeah. I mean, what are you saying in terms of players going out? You mentioned Kevin De Bruyne. Where do you stand? What players do you want moved on?
So, yeah, because I did a show recently on We Are the South Stand, right? And I don't know if you know, but it's City's fan base at the moment. Not all, but a lot of players, people are saying it's time for them to go. But for me, I just do it by age, because that's what's got on top of us this season. It's the age thing is really... And by the way, I don't think we can go and get rid of 8 players and bring in 8 replacements in one transfer window. It's just that don't happen in football, right? So for me, De Bruyne must go. De Bruyne is probably the one I want gone. It sounds mad me saying it, but De Bruyne is probably the one that I think needs to go the most of all our players. And some people say Gundogan, but you got to remember Gundogan came back to be a bit part player, right? And this season, Gundogan has not been a bit part player. He's been ran into the ground because of the Rodri injury, yeah? So,
right.
Whereas with Kev, like the drop-off from last season is absolutely insane, right? And one of the main reasons why I want him, like, to me, it is essential that he goes is because I don't want it to impact his legacy at the club. And that's what will happen. Like we saw it with Kyle Walker, yeah? When you've got a big global fan base, the minute someone's no longer performing at the level, they start slandering him and they start, talking about his drop-off. And De Bruyne's drop-off this season has been mad. Like, he's gone from last season where, although he did look a bit leggy, he was still able to make those passes, those Kevin De Bruyne passes. Now he cannot even make a simple 20-yard cross-field pass. He's really, really dropped off. So De Bruyne must go for me. And also, it's one of them ones where he's on like 375 grand a week. His contract is up at the end of the season. Let him go as a legend and let him go and secure his bag elsewhere. I don't like when people say, no, I reckon we could get another year or so out of him coming off the bench. Don't do that to legends. Just let them go and play their football in a country that's easier on them and still play a certain amount of game. Gundogan, I think, also should go as well. I think Gundogan will probably have, I think it's Fenerbahce are really, really keen on taking him back to Turkey to end his career. So, and then...
What about Bernardo Silva? Because that guy has been poor, not only for club, but for country. Yes. And you know, watching for Portugal, he's been rubbish for Portugal.
Has he?
For the last 2 years, bro. I'll be real. For Portugal, he's been poor, bro. By his standards.
Yeah. You know, Bernardo is my favourite City player. So he's a bit of a hard one because his contract is not up at the end of the season. He's not, I think he's 31. The problem is, right, I've just named 2 central midfielders that I want to get rid of. And not just 2 central midfielders, 2 central midfielders that are experienced and do we get rid of a third in one transfer window? Getting rid of De Bruyne, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva all in one transfer window? Nah. So I'd keep Bernardo for one more season, me personally. I also think, again, he's been run into the ground. You get the right players round him and you start using him a bit more of a bit part player. I think there's still another season in him. So for me, him and Kovacic, I would keep because I don't think we should make too many. We can't go and get rid of 4 experienced midfielders. That's suicide.
I get what you're saying. If you bring in like VIDS and you get like Alex Baena as an example, 50 million euros is transfer release clause. Very good player, very technically.
I know nothing about him enough.
He's very good, man. He's really, really good. Let's say, for example, you go and get them 2, and then you rotate Gundo and Bernardo Silva. I don't think that's bad. I get the logic behind it.
Yeah.
You don't want to make.
You got to remember, right? We've already got Rodri will be back. Yeah, unless he gets an injury, but then anyone can get injured. But Rodri will be back next season. We'll be back way before next season. We've got Nico Gonzalez now, who joined us in January.
What did you think about his performance against Brighton? Because I watched that game and I did a match reaction and I felt like he did well, but then as soon as they started overrunning the midfield, he needed a little bit of help.
Yeah. And that's the thing. At the moment, our midfield is so old, bro. Like, it's so old and leggy. Look, the thing with Gonzalez is you got to remember, it don't matter. Right, Rodri first season, he wasn't great, yeah? When you come from La Liga and you come into the Premier League and you're playing that DM role, tell me someone that's landed and in their first season, probably, I mean, Kante maybe, but like, especially coming from La Liga, though, it does take a period to adapt. He's done well so far. Oh, and by the way, he's an 8 playing the 6 role. He's not actually a 6. He's more of an 8. But there has been a difference since he's joined us because you got to remember, before January, yeah? Like, remember that period in, like...
Yeah, you man were getting opened up. I can't lie.
Man were just waltzing through our midfield like it was nothing, yeah? It was light work. Anyone could just walk through our midfield. Since Gonzalez has arrived, come back, and probably a bit of relevance that Kovacic is a bit more about, now people aren't walking through our midfield as easily. Like, and that is, like, the proof is in the pudding. If you look at our results before the January window, yeah? Bro, you saw the run. It was shocking. Since we've brought in players in January, yeah, we have lost to Arsenal. Well, currently, yeah, Arsenal above us. There's a reason Arsenal was 2nd and we're 5th, right? We've lost to Liverpool. Again, there's a reason why Liverpool are 1st and we're 5th. We've lost to Nottingham Forest, who again are 3rd. And we've lost to Real Madrid, right? That's it, yeah? So since we brought in players, we've lost to 4 teams that currently where we are, we would expect to lose to. We ain't lost to no one else. So it is not the same as it was November, December. And that's by bringing in Kuzanov's made a massive difference. And by bringing in...
Very good centre-back.
Yeah, Bo, he's cold, man. He's cold. Bo,
he's reading of the game, bro. And he's mature as well. He's not rash. And when he goes in, he times it at the right time. Yeah. I think he's a top centre-back.
Bo, do you know what? I think he might play right back next year as well.
Well, he's done it before, innit? Putting centre
Yeah,
backs. But you think he's not gonna hold down the centre back position?
Well, it depends who Pep. It depends if we bring in anyone else in. But I guess it depends how Pep plays. But if we were to play, right, I could see a back four of Vardy on the left, who's going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Diaz. And then whether it be Reece, whether it be Stones, whether it be Akanji.
Do you think they're getting rid of Stones? Because I've heard a lot of you may be getting rid of Stones.
I think the only way that Stones would go, I think we might maybe use Stones as a bit of I've seen links with Branthwaite, and we might maybe use Stones as a bit of a deal to get. But apart from that, you've got to remember, bro, Stones is on big money. I swear Stones are like $250 a week, yeah? He's got 1 year left on his contract. So again, who's going to pay that? Ain't no one going to pay John Stones at his age. You see how much he gets injured, bro?
Yeah.
Who's going to pay him $250 a week? So again, it's I can't really see him going anywhere because of the wage he's on. So I've seen Akanji being linked with Real Madrid as well. But
okay.
I don't know about that one. Again, Akanji's getting pelters from our fan base, but we haven't been good this season, so I don't think it's necessarily fair to just single out Akanji. But I could see Kusanov playing as a right back. That kind of, when Vardy goes forward, it almost would be like three at the back. So Kusanov will kind of come in as almost like a right centre back. But don't know, man. His reading of the game, his passing, everything about Kusanov. Kusanov's one that I think is going to be a real big deal. I think that Reece will get a bit more game time next season as well. Vitor Hayes. And the other one that we really want to see is Echeverri, man. We really want to see.
That's the guy I was going to ask you about. Because from what I've seen of him, he looks cold. But we want to see it in the Prem, innit? You know what I mean? What do you make of him? Have you seen much of him? What do you make of the kid? Because, I mean, your manager isn't really one to, rush players in like that. You know what I mean? Look at the way he did with Foden. Foden, he took his time. But the fact that you guys need to rebuild your midfield, do you think he will have a bigger role than Foden did at his age? Because of the rebuild?
I think he should at this point. I want to see him. By the way, there's a comment, we can talk on that in a minute. The one about Pep. Someone just commented on. But yeah, I want to see Echeverri. I think the interesting one here is when you compare it to Foden, the thing is, because Foden had come through our academy and because Foden is a City boy, right? Foden knew his development was, he knew I don't need to rush nothing. Yeah. Because he knew sooner or later, the chairman's coming out, and a few years back, the chairman came out and said it's as important that Foden cements his place in this Manchester City team as it is Manchester City win the league. This was about 2 years ago, yeah, because for our academy and for whatever, and to have Foden come through. So Foden knew he didn't have to rush nothing. Now, the difference is Echeverri is not a City fan, right? So he's not just going to sit around while everyone's talking about this wonder kid. He ain't going to sit around and be happy being on the bench and not starting. So I think Pep...
Kind of like a Cole Palmer scenario.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, a bit. I mean, the Cole Palmer one also was, despite...
what do you make of that? Do you feel like you guys let it slip a little bit?
Bro, I know shit. My people I go to the games with know Cole Palmer. Yeah, they know him. They're friends with him. Yeah, Cole Palmer and Pep did not get on, right?
Okay.
And Cole Palmer moved in August. Yeah, in April, my mates told me that Cole Palmer wants to leave City and he wants to go to Germany. Ideally, he wants to go to Dortmund. Right?
Okay.
So it was one of them ones where it was always going to happen. I didn't want Cole Palmer to go as well, by the way. I was a big Cole Palmer fan, but it's what it is. But yeah, with Echeverri, I think he has to be given some game time. I think we'll probably see a lot of him in the Club World Cup, to be fair. I think I could see him starting most games for us in the Club World Cup. I could see maybe Pep already thinking, yeah, do you know what? He's one that I can really get to see, because you got to remember, he's just came from Argentina. Argentinian, does their season run the same as Brazil's?
I think so. I think it's in line with the Brazil.
I'm pretty certain it is. So that means that he will have been playing all for, like, he's already finished his season. He's joined. Then he had the under 21s World Cup, under 20s World Cup, or whatever it was, which he played in. So I think he's getting a bit of a rest at the moment. I would imagine maybe we see him a little bit off the bench towards the back end of the season now, and then we see him all through the Club World Cup. And Pep will then be able to evaluate him and work out whether he goes out on a loan, because I have seen he's being linked out on a loan potentially.
Okay.
Which I know some City fans are like, we can't loan him out, we shouldn't loan him out. But at the same time, if he isn't going to get much game time at City, we're better to loan him out. So he gets, like, he's 18. I think he's 18 or 19. It's better he goes out and gets some game time. But
you don't want him stagnant. I hear that.
Nah, but at the same time, bro, I think personally, to keep him and have him, I think Foden needs competition next season. I think that's for Foden. That would be a good thing for Foden, right?
Okay.
I think maybe even for Foden to be taken out of the limelight a little bit, get his head right and whatever, because obviously it's come out that he's not in a good place and whatever, like, without this pressure that everything's on him at the moment. So I would like to see Echeverri play, but we'll see. Yeah, there was a comment about Pep someone put in.
Yeah. Where is it? Okay. Can we talk about the possibility of a scenario where Pep doesn't fix this mess despite being given 300 M's? Does that mean now we can agree that he should leave? Would you make?
Okay, right. So that comment there, yeah. Let's look at it. Can we talk about the possibility? So you said possibility, right? Cool. So it's a possibility of a scenario where Pep doesn't fix this mess despite being given 300 million. Right. So he hasn't been given 300 million yet, right? Does that mean we can now agree that he should leave, and the leave is in capitals? So is this a possibility, or are you talking facts here? Because, like, I don't even know what you're trying to do here. Like, if you want my stance on Pep Guardiola, yeah, I've said he's having a bad season, yeah. The whole team's having a bad season. We've had a lot of injuries. We've got an old squad. That is not just down to Pep, that is down to the sports director. And Pep has come out and said, I said that we should, I said that we could probably go one more season with this squad. Well, the job of a sporting director is to pull the fucking manager up and say, nah, bro, I disagree. Yeah. The sporting director actually outranks a manager. So the sporting director, and this is why I think Arsenal have got the Atletico guy, because I think his job, and by the sound of it, he's happy to disagree with anyone. His job is to disagree with Arteta now, right? So it's the same at City. It's not all on Pep that we kept this squad. It is on the sporting director as well. Now, if Pep is given 300 million, yeah, and if we are in the same place next season, then yes, it is a very serious conversation about it might be the right time for Pep and City to part ways. But I sense, Mr. Hope, that by the fact that you put leave in capitals, that you're one of the knobheads that shouts shit like Pep needs to fuck off. And there will never be a day where I say that Pep Guardiola needs to fuck off, ever. Yeah. But I do agree with you that if he's given 300 million and he doesn't get us back to challenging next season, not winning, challenging, yeah, because we can't expect him to win every season, then I would agree it probably is the right time. And he is going through a lot of shit. He's going through a divorce at the moment. He's 6 months into a divorce while still trying to manage one of the biggest clubs in the world. But that kind of, although it's relevant, that is irrelevant because it's for the good of Manchester City. And it might be a case that if he doesn't manage to turn it round, people just say, but it's kind of one of them things where the club and him come to an agreement. Do you know what? Yeah, let's just part on mutual terms. And it should never put when
on a positive as well.
Yeah, bro. You know what it is? It's when I see like people saying Pep needs to get out my club or fuck off and that. It's like, you ungrateful prick. Go and support fucking whoever you used to support, because you like it's one at this point. Let's be clear. At this point, it is what 8 bad months. Not even 8 bad months. In fact, fuck 8 bad months. At this point, it's 4 bad months. 4 bad months, yeah? And when people say about, like, the other one I see that gives me jokes is when I see, oh, Pep's been found out. Pep's been found out. His style is dated now and football's moved on. What? Because of 4 bad months, football has moved on. Because if you really remember, go and look at Pep Guardiola's first 9 months at Manchester City. We won nothing, yeah? And everyone
he changed his style multiple times. Well, you had the inverted left back, then you had the centre backs, then you won the league without a striker, playing the number 9 like a false 9. So he's changed it up over the time he's been at City. So
when Pep Guardiola arrived, his first season, the media and everyone was saying, nope, he's too stubborn. He can't play that style of football here. Right? Yeah. And the truth is that we had a very old defence, very, very old. We had the wrong goalkeeper. We had like fullbacks that were old. We defensively were poor. One transfer window in the summer and we got 100 points the next season, right? So, and then since then, the rest is history. So anyone that says after 4 months, oh, Pep needs to go, it's like, calm the fuck down. Like, again, if it's this time next season, we can have this conversation. But after 4 months, you can't be, and you're right, bro. Go and look at Man City's squad that Pep inherited. There is only one player left. De Bruyne. He is the only player Pep inherited. The rest of the squad has been regenerated and gone again and gone again and gone again. And people never talk about that. Yes, he's spent money, right? But guess what? Pep's entitled to spend money. When you get that good at your fucking job, you get given money. And the proof is in the pudding with the trophies he wins. I like if Arteta was being given all this money that he's been given.
Which he has, right? after failure.
But if you were winning trophies every season, yeah, you wouldn't be onto him, would you? You'd be going, yeah, he's being given money and what? And he's spending it and we're winning.
I think a manager that's performed at the level that Pep has for you guys, yeah, I understand giving him a season. Now, he's obviously put his hands up. One thing I like about him, he's put his hands up and said, look, he is part of the cause why your team is in the state that it is this season when your sporting director wanted to overhaul certain areas of the squad. Yeah. But at the same time, your club were proactive in January, something that we wasn't, Liverpool wasn't. And I think that just shows that you guys aren't resting on your laurels and saying, we're just going to, bide the time and see how it goes. And I think
that's what I love.
I get what he's done for your club. And I get that you don't want to turn with him. And I get, like, I can't compare because obviously Wenger always underachieved in Europe. And we got to the final in 2006 and lost to Barcelona and et cetera, et cetera. But I saw 3 Premier Leagues under Wenger. Yeah. So like Wenger wasn't somebody I wanted to turn on straight away. Yeah. But I have seen from a situation like that, when you don't pull the trigger fast enough, it starts decaying your team. Now, I don't feel like he should lose his job this season, but next season.
Yeah, it's a conversation, bro. It has to be.
Like if he continues this next season, then it's going to be like, okay, Pep, you held your hands up. You're entitled to not, there's no given right that Man City are going to win the league every year. So cool, based on your body of work and how much you've won, cool. But the next season, it needs to be extremely competitive, if not win the league, because then it's like, okay, you're not really fixing things, are you? Now it's starting to become stagnant, this little decline.
And what you said there about, so since Pep arrived, whenever it's always been he's brought in to win the Champions League. The truth is, the board, the one thing, and Pep always says this, the one thing the board always says to him is you must be challenging. Right. All we ask every season is that you are challenging in as many competitions as possible. Yeah. Because you can't literally say you must win, you must win, you must win. Yeah. Because it don't work like that. But they said you must challenge. He should be challenging next season. But another example is like, this is where we've become, as football fans, we've become so spoiled, even with the board, right? No, between the board and Pep, we got it wrong last summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the board and Pep, and by the way, we got it wrong in the summer, but let's be honest, none of us were screaming about it until October at the earliest, yeah? Right, cool. By January, Pep and the board had both put their hands up and said, yeah, We need to refresh. And they went and spent, what, about 180 million in January, yeah? So, and people are still going, no, the board need to be held accountable. The board have held themselves accountable. What are you talking about? Like, what do you want? Do you want the board gone now? Otherwise, shut up, yeah? Because the board have fucking acted. If the board did fuck all in January, cool. Still moan about it. But if the board are acting, yeah? And if Pep has come out and said, yeah, we did get it wrong, so me and the board are working together, we're trying to bring players in, they're trying to change things. What are we saying? Get rid of the board, get rid of Pep, and get rid of all the players. What? And just start again because of 4 bad months? It's mad.
No, I hear it. At this current time, I feel like, yeah, they were proactive in January. Give them a chance to fix it. They've put their hands up. At least they're not trying to gaslight the fan base and trying to. That's the worst thing when clubs try to manipulate
do the lies.
Or try and try to do that whole thing. Like what happens with Arsenal? Oh, we don't need a striker. Oh, we've done enough. We've got versatility and all that. You know what I mean? I feel like fans want to see a club when they see it's wrong, which they should have seen it beforehand. To be fair, this is why they're paying millions of pounds.
£1,000,000.
At the same time,
100% agree with that. Yeah.
Cousin have come on, improved you. Nico Gonzalez come in, improved you. Do you know what I mean? I feel like even
Marmoush as well. But bro,
Marmoush, bad boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Great goal against Brighton as well. I think he was a steal. And my club sit there and say there's no options. You know what I mean? This is what
Marmoush was. Do you know what? Marmoush was clever business, and people will look at the wages on and go, "Oh, how's that clever business, bro?" If we're talking business, it's definitely clever business. There's a reason why he's on the wage he's on. That's because he's the Prince of Egypt, basically, yeah? Like, this guy is going to be one of the next big players out of the Muslim world, yeah? So that's good business, right? 100% that is good business. But I think the other reason why it's good business is go and look at his numbers he was getting in Germany. Go and look, right? If that would have waited till the end of the season when everyone else is in trying to buy him, we would have paid a lot more for him. A lot more. A lot. So, yeah, I think that was good business. But I think you're right. Do you know what? I'm intrigued with your club, though.
I'm not.
This new sports director. Nah, bro. This new sports director is interesting.
Do you think he'll be given support, Daps? Because Edu, there was rumors out there that Edu left because Arteta was overruling him. And just like you said, and I agree, sporting director is supposed to be in line with the vision of the club. Yeah. And when it comes to building the squad, and only that level of building the squad, he should overrule the manager, because then why is he even there? Is he there to be a puppet? He should have there's no point putting somebody as a sporting director if the manager is the one that gets the final say.
100%.
Arteta's already come out and says he gets the final say. So I like Berta. I actually have no problem with that. Will he be given the power? Because Arteta's won every war, bro.
Bro,
you know what I mean? Something that that has. I'm talking about players wanting to leave or wanting to play.
And by the way,
sporting director, he's won every war, bro.
It's worth us actually catching up on this as well, because remember, I was very, for you lot, pro Arteta.
Yeah.
Right. And remember, I always said to you, that the minute I see a drop off, the minute I feel that you're not improving, then it is a conversation. Maybe it's time. Thank you, Arteta. You have got us back better than we were, but now it's time. And where I am with Arteta right now, is I think at absolute most, for the good of your club, he can only be given one more year at most, right? Without winning. If you do not win the league next season, he must go, no matter what. Don't matter if he's 1 point behind. Don't matter if he's goal difference. If you finish second or less next season, he must go. Otherwise, and I do think already this could start creeping in. This is your third year finishing second. At what point does that really start to impact the mentality of the whole club again, and the mentality of the players, and they start doubting it, and then things can start all of a sudden going a bit negative. And that's where I think it could be. Now, I'm not saying it is, but I think keeping him on one more year is a risk. 3 years second, right? It's a risk that you're already starting to breed this. And I also think with the excuses, how he's always got excuses, is that going to start to also be something on a player? Because my whole thing is there should never be excuses. If if I'm a manager and someone's coming to me and giving reasons or excuses, I'm saying to them, like, why don't you work harder? Right? Why don't you, like, if we're just going to accept excuses, then what are we saying? We're happy to just be second, right? I think there's a risk that, unfortunately, and by the way, I still think Arteta will go on to be a good manager, but I just think it could get to a point where him and Arsenal must part ways before it starts turning really fucking negative. And not just as in the fan base, I'm actually meaning the players and everything that Arteta actually, I think, has done a good job building up, he could rip apart by staying there. So, but when clubs hire people, I always, and people that I respect, in the football world, I would hope that I always think about the interview process, right? And sometimes I'm proven wrong. Tottenham's the one example where I always seem to be proven wrong, because every manager that goes in there, I presume they're having conversations and getting assurances from Daniel Levy, right? Like Conte, for example. I presume that when he agreed to join Tottenham, he'd already agreed that they were going to give him dough to go and splash. So then in the January transfer window, after he'd only been there for a few months, he was going, I need to talk to the board and see if they're going to give me any money. I was thinking, surely you as a respected manager would have had this conversation before. Now, moving on to that's your new sporting director. I respect him as a sporting director, and he's coming from a very good establishment, So I would think he hasn't left Atletico without Arsenal assuring him, listen, you call the shots, Of course, you've got to work with Arteta, but you call the shots. And I don't know. I mean, your board's an interesting one. I can't work them out, but it does. If I'm your right, me as an outsider looking in, I'm thinking, have they brought him in because they've thought, you know what, we've given Arteta all our backing, we've funded him, all of that, and we've come third 3 years in a row, right? Now, I think your board is still going, we have faith in Arteta. We still have faith in him. However, maybe he shouldn't have as much power as we've given him. And maybe we need a fresh set of eyes on him. That's going to put, and my man from Atletico, he's pulled up man at Atletico. He disagrees with people. He's happy to tell people when they're in the wrong. So I don't know if he's been brought in as a fresh set of eyes. So they still want to back Arteta, but they're starting to have a little bit of doubt and thinking, you know what? We need to bring someone else in with a fresh set of eyes. And it would be interesting if maybe he might be the one that, if Arteta doesn't start the season extremely well next season, maybe he'll pull the plug on him. Maybe he'll be the guy that pulls the plug on him.
Do you know what? I just feel like. Do you remember when Wenger, when they tried to tell Wenger that he needs a sporting director, but he was given so much power for such a long time, he started being condescending and saying, what's a sporting director? And I feel like Arteta's got the same kind of attitude.
Oh, it seems to happen in a lot of places,
so much PR, so much support, so much of you're the next Pep, you're going to be the next one. That you see it even, I don't know if you must have saw that interview where he ran off. He couldn't face being questioned. And I was like, the arrogance on this guy.
Yeah, that's what's made me turn on him. To be honest with you, because I was a fan of him when he joined you, and also, by the way, I can say I was a fan of Arteta when he joined Arsenal, because Arsenal weren't a threat back then, But it's the arrogance that has grained on me with him, to be honest with you. I do think he's become arrogant. And I think it's similar. Bro, in fact, it's not similar. It's the same as Klopp, innit, at Liverpool. That when Klopp was working under Edwards, and Edwards was signing the players, Klopp was being the manager. They won a Champions League and they won a league, right? And then Klopp was pushing for disagreeing with Edwards to the point where Edwards goes, do you know what, I'm leaving, left. And Klopp was given the power. Is basically doing the job as a sporting director and manager. And that's where they're signing Darwin, Núñez and all these other players. And since then, they didn't win the league, right? Didn't win the league, didn't win the Champions League since Klopp took over, basically making all the decisions. And Edwards is now back there and they've won a league again. So a sporting director, you know it, Arsenal, Wenger. Wenger was important, but so was David Dean next to him.
Yeah.
Right. At Man United, it was... who was it? It was Man United who Gill. I think it was
Gil.
And again, it's no coincidence. Dean left. Wenger started to drop off. Then Wenger left. Same thing at Man United. Gill left.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, even though like getting Berta in is good, Daps, that doesn't take away the fact that this manager in knockout competition is shocking. The way he's played players injured this season, shocking. Consistently playing Zinchenko as a left back. His best performance was playing as a 10 against PSV. Playing Partey as a right back, playing Declan Rice injured, playing Ben White injured, playing Havertz into the ground, playing Saka into the ground. All these things that will not be fixed for us to get over the line, even with Berta making the decisions and getting players in. So because when you look at Arteta as a manager and his actual job, he has so many deficiencies. In-game management, the way he mixes up with his team, given chances, like he says he gets the most out of players, but he's played Trossard in the 10, he's played Mikel Moreno in the 10, and it ain't worked out. A lot of his experiments don't work out. Thoughts that he could revive Sterling when he's been on the decline, not been fruitful. So for me, I just look at it and I just think, like this manager is shocking, bro. Not only in player ID, but the way he molds his team and the way that he rotates players. And every single time I ask him to do something, or I want him to do something as a fan, it takes him way too long. And I feel like ultimately you can have the best scouts, you can have the best players. There's a reason why we have managers, and a manager does make a difference. Pep had to learn with all the talent.
I think
Pep
that's
had to learn how to approach the Champions League, right? So a manager and what he does in 90 minutes makes a difference, and the way that he manages his team. And once he knew how to manage the Champions League with that group of players, he got over the line. The problem is, my manager can't even get me a cow.
No, it's not even a champion. You have to manage the league as well, by the way. You have to manage
in every aspect.
Do you know what? I think
this is what I'm saying.
A hard one, because Arteta has obviously.
I would have gone, man.
Arteta was under Pep, right? And the one thing we know, I was talking about earlier on, Pep is stubborn, right? Pep, first season, we didn't win anything, but Pep was saying, no, we do play football this way. This is the way. We must all be pulling in the same direction. This is the way we're playing, simple and short. We're not deviating from it, right? But Pep had a track record of that working. It worked at Barca, it worked at Bayern, right? But because Arteta's, I guarantee you, bro, Pep would have been telling Arteta, look, as a manager, you always have to have your beliefs and everyone must be on board with you and you must just stick to what you believe in, right? Now, I think Pep has probably helped to make Arteta the stubborn fucker that he is. But the difference is you can be stubborn if what you believe in has worked and won trophies. Pep is allowed to be stubborn, innit? Like he's earned the right to be stubborn. Whereas with Arteta, maybe not so. But that's why I think you've got this. Honestly, to me, until I see otherwise, I think that's why you've got the sporting director in, bro. I think the sporting director is going to be keeping a close eye on. Bro, I can imagine him and Arteta were probably already clashing over stuff, over signings in the summer and whatever else. Because it always, when a new face comes in, it's very, very, very rare that a new face comes in and gets on with like all their reports. So. But yeah, man. Yeah, for me though, I can't. We know Arteta's going to be staying on another season. Yeah, that's a risk. If you don't win the league next season, he has to go. I'm now on your side. Like when the first game of next season, when the first ball is kicked, that is when I am officially on your side. I am officially. Yeah, if he doesn't win the league, he must go this season. You can't, you're breeding a shit mentality if you keep him 4 years in a row. You can't.
It's mad. It's mad. For me, the fact that Liverpool are winning the league, that's a sackable offense, bro. You can't be competing for the league, not getting over the line. Because when Liverpool dropped out of competing with you lot, is because they didn't revitalize that midfield and they let it be stagnant. But they got over the line. That's the difference. They got over the line. This is the thing, yeah. The difference between KSC and FSG is we spend money, but we spend it on stupid players that aren't worth the value that we put them on. You know what I mean? They're not worth that money. Jesus ain't worth 240 a week. Odegaard ain't worth 240 a week. Havertz ain't worth 280 a week.
Bro, I've
the money
never
that you pay
understood
for
that
them,
Havertz thing, you know. Never.
Even Calafiori, bro, like not worth it. How's Skelly outshining this guy? Once again, another left back that can't defend. But FSG,
I just don't
you
get
know, one
the
thing
wage
that I would love from them.
Havertz is on.
Yeah,
don't get it.
Is bro, they got the right sporting director, they get the right manager. They were supposed to do a rebuild. Phase 1, they win in the league because they were putting the right people. And even when people were questioning Gravenberch, Gakpo, Diaz, and all that, this manager's got the most out of them and making them look like good players. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, the sporting director is justified. You can't say that about Arsenal.
No, I hear it.
Do you get me? And we spend more money. We like my fan base was twerking about, oh, we beat Man City to get Declan Rice 100 M's, this and that. And now they're pleading poverty. But you weren't pleading poverty to pay over the odds for Declan Rice. I just don't get it, bro. Like, you know, one little win. It's like, why didn't we get Rafinha? Because he's cooking. Imagine if we had Rafinha right now in this team. Because we need a winger, bro. Like, my fan base will talk about Doku.
You were linked with him, actually, weren't you?
Improving. Like, I actually...
Yeah, Doku has been improving this year, bro. 100%.
Still not like a complete winger.
No, he's not. Bro, he needs... You know what?
He's getting a lot more physical. He's barging players.
Yeah, bro. Doku's been all right this season still. I think the only thing with Doku is... well, Doku and Savio. To be actually, by the way, Doku, it sounds mad, and I know people will say, nah, Savio... Like, right. Doku has been a lot better than Savio this season. A lot better, right? Now, the eye test, people, the Twitter fans will be saying, nah, Savio. Like, I get it. I'm not saying Savio won't end up being a better player than Doku, but Doku has been better than Savio this season. Bro, Savio's shooting is really fucking bad. Really bad.
He gets into really good positions.
Great positions, but he's shooting his shit.
He just doesn't kill it off.
Bro.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit frustrating with him because technically he's cold. You know what I mean? Comfortable with both feet. He's really, really cold, but he just needs to be more patient getting in the box. It's like both of them are kind of developing differently. Doku now isn't being so sporadic, but he's not getting barged off the ball anymore. But he's not being so twitchy. You remember when he first played, he was like twitchy, overs, overcomplicating it. And you see like a winger, even like Sterling, people talk about, oh, Sterling was rubbish, but he was effective with City.
Yeah, he was.
He would be in the right place at the right time, and he'd do the right, he would release the ball when he needed to, and he'd be in the right areas of the box when he needed to get the goal. And I think sometimes those attributes are downplayed in football. You can be the most.
I had this conversation, bro.
Reading the game is important, man.
Bro, listen, I said this the other day on a different stream, and an opinionated ex-professional footballer jumped on the stream and was like, "What am I hearing?" Because I said, "You lot, what do you think Sterling's best quality is?" And then, like, people were going, his pace. I go, "No, it's his reading of the game, right?" It's his reading of the game. And then someone's like, I go, go and look at City, Go and look at prime City when Sterling was there, and the number of goals Sterling was getting. That wasn't because of his pace, because if Sterling uses his pace and gets in behind a defence, he fucks up, right? He fucks up. He falls over or he misses the goal or he tries to take it around the keeper. Sterling one-on-one with the keeper is one of the worst players I've ever seen, right? So it's not about his pace. Sterling got all his numbers from all the other runners and him just dropping back or going to the near post or going to the far post. It was always him finding space by the rest of the team and all the runners, And that was what Sterling was good at. It wasn't, his pace was good to have, but I wouldn't even say his pace. It was more his acceleration. But no, he's on loan at you lot, isn't he?
He's been shocking, bro. Absolutely shocking, just like I thought. And it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? He's just at that stage of his career, and it's just time for him to go to a division that's not good enough. Bro, he wasn't even performing against Preston North End and Bolton. That level, he wasn't performing.
There was
when
one
you're not
game
performing against that level...
There's one game recently that I saw a few people saying Sterling's at last arrived.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna see a different side of me. I ain't seen anything, bro.
No.
The only thing I've seen is the back of his picky head, bro. I ain't seen anything from this guy. No, and that's why I didn't want him, bro. But Savio, as long as he finishes he starts finishing, I think he'll be all right. Doku as well. He can get into more dangerous areas. I think sometimes he holds on to the ball because you got no movement. Your team is like so stagnant now. You guys used to, like you said, with Sterling, you'd have runners, you'd
Yeah,
have
bare
Mahrez,
runners,
you'd have
Walker
Faces, you'd have all
running.
these players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you'd bring, like, you know, you had Agueros and players like that would drop in deep and bring defenders out of position. Now,
Even
the way
his bro,
you guys have
even
played
do
this
you know what?
season,
Even Jesus used to
My
drag
God.
people. Jesus used to drag players out of position.
yeah,
for
he
fun.
did. He did, to be fair to him.
Yeah. So and Sane as well. It was all of it. That's where everything's just become very stagnant at the moment. I saw someone say that we need a goal scoring winger. We have one. Oscar Bob. He's just been injured. So I think Bob and Savio will be battling out for the right. I think Doku and Marmoush will be battling out for the left.
Would you not go for an Mbeumo? I mean, I'd like him at Arsenal.
I can't, bro. I would. I rate Mbeumo. I can't see that happening though. It's not a City move. I could see Mbeumo. Do you know what? I think Mbeumo is a Newcastle. I would have said a year ago. I would have said Mbeumo, Liverpool. Yeah, but now Newcastle. I think I'm pretty certain he's being heavily linked with them. So.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's reported about 50 to 60 M's. I mean, they took a while to get Gordon over the line. Maybe they got a bit more money now, but that deal took a while to get over the line. So do Newcastle really have money like that? I don't know.
Bro, that what's it called? That them winning a trophy, yeah. Right. If Newcastle's board have any sense, yeah. And do you know what? One thing I will say is very relevant is the whole thing that's going on with City in the Premier League at the moment, that about basically sponsorships, yeah. Because you got to remember, Newcastle have now just won a trophy, yeah, and it's been very publicised that Newcastle have just won a trophy. So Newcastle will be able to bring in more money through sponsorship. They need to go and just do, and if ultimately it's proven that, you know what, you can do this. If someone wants to pay you this much for sponsorship, they can pay you this much. Newcastle just need to, bro. They need to cook the books, in it. They must, bro.
Listen, Chelsea always find a way. Chelsea, they're great. Chelsea are always great at finding loopholes. You know, maybe they can call up Chelsea and say, "Listen, man,
or maybe
we'll nice you on a player or something."
You see, the thing is that we say Chelsea always find a way, and you're right, they do. But so does City, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And just because we're facing 115, right? We have not been found guilty of 115. And I don't think we will be found guilty of 115, because whereas Chelsea found loopholes and shout about them, right? I think City find loopholes, but just don't shout about them and say, all right, take us to court and we'll prove you wrong in court. But it's a loophole, right? It's not legal what we're doing. And I think that's what will happen. And bro, come on. You've seen the legal team we have. Yeah. The Saudis are worth something like 100 times more than us, yeah? Go and get a sick legal team and just splash. That's what they should do. That's what they should be allowed to do, though, as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
Mbeumo at Arsenal would cook still.
I'd love him at Arsenal, but I don't think we're going to show the ambition, bro. Like, I really don't think we're going to show the ambition, because we had so reportedly we got 250 to 300 M's to spend, yeah? Now, you know, in Arsenal, as long as I have been knowing Arsenal,
you ain't going to spend.
Exactly, bro. So that means in the summer we had the money to go and get an Isak, or a minimum of Gyökeres, because 100 million euros is what, 90 million pounds. So we could have comfortably paid that. You know what I mean? Just as an example.
But remember, can you remember when 100 million pound was 200 million euros?
Yeah.
And now look at us as a country, bro. What the fuck has happened?
Yeah. But I remember when Chelsea bought Fernando Torres for 50 M's, that was that big news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was that splash in the cash. You know what I mean? Back then. Yeah. So I don't know, Daps, man. Like, I don't feel
I can't 300 M's.
What do you think about Liverpool? Like, because obviously Trent's going, I think he's replaceable, but the other two are not.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I can't see a world where Salah stays, by the way. I can't see a world where Salah stays.
Where do you think he goes?
I think he goes Saudi.
Yeah?
Yeah, bro, all this, do you know what really fucking pisses me off with football fans, right? That we think football is the... Right, so you know when people says, oh, he's still got ambition, right? So what is ambition only in the football world? Yeah, because even if we're talking football world, he's already won every trophy you can win in Europe, right?
Mhm.
He don't need to prove himself no more in Europe. Yeah,
That's
but
true.
why do people make out that ambition is only football? Yeah, because as a man, what's let me ask you, right? Northside, you're an ambitious man, right?
Mm.
So you can win your second, not your first. You can stay where you are and win your your third Premier League and your second Champions League. So not your first, your second and your third, yeah, and be on a similar wage to you're currently on, and be in a country that deep down isn't your home, right? Alternatively, right, you can go back to Portugal, you can go back to your home, be treated like literally the fucking king, yeah, and be paid so much more than you're currently on that your family for the next 7, 8, 9 generations will live like kings, right? Which one's more ambitious, to stay or to go and achieve all of that?
Here's the thing, yeah. It all depends, and that's a great question, because that leads up to Saka having 2 years left on his contract at Arsenal, Saliba having 2 years left, Gabriel having 2 years left. Now, all three of these players, we're going to see what are they in football for? Yeah, are you in football for legacy, or are you in football for the quick money? I will say this though: the more you win in your career, the more you can earn when you're done. You're more marketable. Your face can still be your representation when you're done with football and you can't kick a ball anymore. You can. There's a reason why brands pay more money for Zidane or R9. And I know everyone's not to that level, but I'm talking about legends of the game's winners. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing. I would be looking at it like this. I'm in the game to win. And as long as I still believe that I can still do it, which Salah has reason to still say I can still do it, why would I not win more? Right. Because guess what? I'm getting the bag after I'm done with football. I'm gonna get it regardless.
Agreed, but if we look at Kevin De Bruyne, right? So Kevin De Bruyne could have moved last summer, right? I guarantee you, this summer, Kevin De Bruyne is offered substantially less than he was last summer, right?
But Kevin De Bruyne's no longer performing, though. That's the difference between him and
he was last season.
No, but currently, right now.
But that's what I'm saying. Bro, one season can change everything. Yeah, one season really can change everything.
You can still go and get a massive paycheck in the MLS.
You can, but bro, I'm telling you, bro, like I'm telling you, there was offers on the table a year ago for De Bruyne that are now not there.
Okay.
Because he's dropped off, and that's the thing. Like, there's mad, and I don't think Salah will drop off like De Bruyne. By the way, I don't know. Even when I hear some of the things he said, like where he said stuff like, I just want to enjoy my last season at Liverpool. He's literally said that, right? And Liverpool fans going, nah, he's not going anywhere. So why is he saying he literally wants to enjoy his last season at Liverpool? Why is he saying that? He's gone, bro. Van Dijk is the one that I think I was convinced that Van Dijk would stay, yeah? But now there's even doubt on that. Now, here's the thing, yeah? Back to your club. You've got the one saving grace, because Slotter's walked into the league, not bought a player, and won the league, yeah? So that makes Arteta look all of a sudden, because before this season, it was like, well, how can Arteta compete against Pep and Klopp, right? Now it's a bit like, oh, well, Pep dropped off, Klopp left, and you still haven't won it. The one saving grace that Arteta has is the fact that Liverpool still have the same spine. They still have Alisson in goal. They still have Konate, Van Dijk. They still have Salah, Trent. Now, bro, Liverpool this season, realistically have to. Well, Trent looks like he's gone. They have to try and work out what's going on with Van Dijk. They have to try and work out what's going on with Salah, yeah? But then also, they must work out what the fuck is going on with Konate and Alisson. Because if not, they're going on a free next summer. So, I don't know. Liverpool are in a bad,
Plus, they need to strengthen the striker area. Jota's been injured. Darwin Núñez isn't up the level. And then they need a replacement for Robbo. So, I get what you're saying. They can't afford to lose these two because they got...
But bro, if they leave... Like, deep it, you've also got to look at Do you know what, right? The one thing I'd say on Salah and Van Dijk, and City do this, is you sweat your assets, yeah? So you buy a player, you pay a lot of money for them, right? But then you get 7 to 10, 11 years of service out of them, yeah? And win a load of trophies with them and then go, yeah, do you know what? They went on a free, but they're kind of getting older and we've got everything out of them. So we're cool with them going, right? I would say on Van Dijk and Salah, you could probably argue that, right? On Trent, you cannot argue that, yeah? You're letting a generational player that is a fucking Scouser and a Liverpool fan go on a free. That is shocking, shocking, shocking business. And also on Konate as well. Konate's probably about to come into the prime of his career, right? So they have to get Konate to sign a contract. Otherwise, they're going to be losing a prime centre-back at the prime of his career for free. And it's just the way people just keep walking out of there on frees. That's mad. Really?
Yeah, I don't think like you saying that, you know, with City is different, isn't it? Liverpool is self-sustained model, isn't it? So with the model that they've got that doesn't work,
it's not
they should have
working.
at least got some money for him because they need to reinvest. That's the whole way the club
that's
is run.
Way
that's
they run. Yeah, literally, that is how Alisson, Van Dijk, and several other players were bought with the Coutinho money.
Coutinho money. Yeah, exactly.
Like, and
I don't feel like they can afford to do that, man. Yeah, and especially with the amount of holes that they got in the team, because every Liverpool fan said we can't compete on multiple fronts. So the squad already needs to be strengthened. You're already talking about players that are going to run their contract out next year. We've got the 2 players that can run out this year, and it's like I don't get it, man.
Yeah,
I really don't get it. The one thing Liverpool fans can say is their scouting team is really good for the team
under Edwards. Under Edwards, 100%.
That's their one saving grace that gets them out of this self-sustaining. But then this is why they never dominate. This is why they don't dominate, because they don't spend the money when they need to. They don't reinvest when they need to. When they will compete with you lot, let it die down. Get peanuts for those players. Now you have to reinvest big money. Now it's coming back full circle because you're not investing big money. And that's why I don't feel like with FSG they will ever be dominant. And I agree.
No, I agree with you. Spot on that, bro. That's the difference. It's do you want to, bro? You know,
as an Arsenal fan, I'd rather have FSG, bro. At least they get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah. you know, Klopp never retained one single trophy. Never retained anything. One trophy, the next season dropped off. Whether it be in the Champions League, whether it be in the Premier League, whether it be in the League Cup, whether it be in the FA Cup, he never retained a trophy. Like, and that's the thing. It's do you want trophies or do you want do you know what it is? Before you can dominate, you have to win trophies, innit? But you have to. You're right. You have to get that. You have to get. I think to dominate as well.
Liverpool would want your ownership.
Age.
Arsenal would want Liverpool's ownership. That's how it goes. Yeah. Because if you're asking me, do I want an ownership that doesn't spend the biggest money but appoint the right people and get me Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues? Of course, from my standpoint, of course that's an upgrade. Are you not winning the Champions League? It's like, we want dominance. So why would we not want? You know what I mean?
So you're definitely not winning the Champions League, though, no?
100% no. 100% no. Yeah, I mean, I put my house on it, bro. We ain't winning it. We're not even beating Real Madrid, bro. We're not. We are rubbish. And look at the way they cooked you lot in the second leg. They turn up like that. They didn't even need to. You didn't even need to turn up like that.
Well, you know what it is, yeah. This is a one thing I'll like. You see the season we won the Champions League. It's the one season that we played Real Madrid where the second leg was at our ground. Yeah. Well, when the second leg is at the Bernabeu, there's not many times that Real Madrid get dumped out. Like, very few. Go and look at the season that they beat us in the semis. They beat, in the last 16, quarters, semis, in the last 16, they played PSG. PSG were leading going into the second leg. The second leg was at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid knocked PSG out. The next game, they were playing Chelsea. Chelsea were leading going into the second leg at the Bernabeu. Turned it round, knocked Chelsea out. We were leading going into the Bernabeu in the second leg, knocked us out. It's that second leg at the Bernabeu. And I believe the first leg's at the Emirates, and there's talk that a few of their players might not be able to play. I don't know what's going on, but, bro, you see that first leg, for you to stand any chance, you have to not just win it, you have to win it by 3 goals. I'm not, bro. I'm not gassing you. You win that first leg by 2 goals, feeling all comfortable. Yeah, you know what? We're 2-0 up, or 3-1 up, or 4-2 up against Real Madrid. Haha. Yeah. Your players, yeah. You lot ain't experienced the Bernabeu yet. You ain't experienced the Bernabeu and I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm talking about this whole squad, pretty much. Maybe 1 or 2 in other. You have not experienced the Bernabeu second leg in a knockout game in the Champions League, yeah? Because the minute they score 1 goal, you best believe there's 90,000 people knowing they're scoring a second goal and a third goal if need be. They will, bro, like that place is some weird voodoo shit. When they get 1 goal, they'll just keep going till they've got enough to send them through. You have to kill them in that first leg. Bro, and do you know, we learned, told us this Atletico Madrid fan in Madrid, the first time I went Madrid, the second time I went Madrid, because we played Atletico in the quarters, then we played Madrid in the semis. Me and Steve were at a kebab shop in Madrid after the game, yeah, looking all depressed. And this guy in a wheelchair's come over. And he's gone, you City fans? And we go, yeah. And he just started shaking his head. He said, first leg, you didn't do enough. He said, you had a 1 or 2 goal lead and you thought it was okay. He said, no. In the Champions League, when you know the second leg is at the Bernabeu, you put 1 nail in the coffin. You put 2 nails in the coffin. You put 3, and you keep putting nails in that coffin until they can't get out no more. Because if not, when you get back to that Bernabeu, and it's true, bro. Like, so I can't see a world where you get through. But if you do, bro, I think you'll win the Champions League.
Nah.
Now, do you know what it is, bro? I think, bro.
Nah. If we beat Real Madrid, yeah, we can still face Inter.
Don't care.
Bro, we couldn't even score a goal against them. We already beat us this season, bro.
I don't care. The confidence you'll take from beating Real. Bro, listen to what... Bro,
this is Arsenal, Daps. You can't... bro.
Listen, no, I'm not saying you're going to beat Real Madrid. What I'm saying is... If
we did, you take that we have the courage to go in.
It's one of them ones where, like... I just... When we drew Bayern Munich 2 years ago in the Champions League, yeah? Quarter-final... and then I knew we'd have Real Madrid. I said, if we beat Bayern Munich, we're winning the Champions League. And they go, what, you still got to play Real Madrid? I said, yes, but the second leg is at the Etihad. That's the difference, yeah?
You're comparing a winning team, though. That's won multiple
titles. That's the key. That is the
key.
But this is where I think...
Arsenal team that can't even get through in the Carabao Cup, getting dumped out by Man United and can't beat 3 times by Newcastle, couldn't get the
I'm being called a mutant.
Got slapped up 2-0
against I've just been called a mutant. I've just been called a mutant. Fuck's sake. No, listen.
Chat, respect
because fuck's sake, I never wanted to be one of them lot. But no, it's what I'm saying is
because that's what Igal would be saying.
Because there's a difference. I don't think you're going to be
comparing your team that's got a world-class manager and as a team that's got the experience and no pressure.
You're going too far. You're going too far. You're making us miss. No, hold on. You're presuming that I think there's any chance of you beating Real Madrid when the second leg is at the Bernabeu. Yeah? I don't. That's why you're not winning the Champions League. What I'm saying is, if you can overcome a second leg at the Bernabeu, yeah, against Real Madrid, then I do believe what that does for your confidence. But you ain't beating them when the second leg is at the Bernabeu. Like, I'm not that thick, bro. Like, I respect.
If that happens, yeah, I'll buy you a box of Maggies from Costco's.
Bro, listen,
I'll buy you a whole box and be like, there you go.
Bro,
Thank you. Put some English judge on it because it ain't happening, bro.
If you beat Real Madrid, yeah, not first leg, by the way.
What would you say the percentages, in your opinion?
What have you beaten them over 2 legs?
We got 2% of winning against Real Madrid. 2%.
Over 2 legs. Yeah?
Yeah. Going through.
I do think it's very relevant to what players they have missing in the first leg. Like, if they actually could, because I believe they could have Rudiger, Daddy Ceballos.
I don't know if Valverde is going to be back. I don't know if Valverde...
There's things, but ultimately, bro, It's all on that first leg. Honestly, right? If you are not 3 goals clear of them, you ain't qualifying. And that's first leg, right? You have to be 3 goals clear of them in my head, yeah, from the first leg, carrying into the second leg for there to be any chance of you beating them, right? Because you are not beating them at the Bernabeu, yeah? It's not happening. Like, it's no chance, yeah? And more so, the way that they are, that weird things happen. If they need 2 goals at the Bernabeu and there's 10 minutes left, they'll get 2 goals at the Bernabeu. They did it to us. Like, I can't.
There's no way that you see us keeping a clean sheet.
I'll be real. I would say, I'd put 10% that Arsenal could win it over 2 legs. Not one game. You could win the first game.
Do you think Arsenal are capable of taking it to pens?
Nah. What, second leg? No. Nah.
There you go. 2%. Nah. That's why I said 2%. 2%.
You know what I mean? And furthermore, even if you did take it to penalties, yeah, you are not beating them on penalties.
Facts. I agree.
Because, and do you know what? The one thing, right? So City released this documentary, yeah, before we won the Champions League, right? Or it might have been just after we won the Champions League, and it was about all the years, all of our Champions League seasons, right? And how we were getting closer and closer. And this isn't just under Pep. It was like under Mancini, under Pellegrini, and how we were getting closer, but things just heartbreak, right? And this is a thing with the Champions League, yeah? And you've got to remember, this is what you were saying a minute ago. We were going into Europe as Kings of England every season, pretty much, yeah? So we already had an elite winning mentality. We just didn't have any European heritage. Yeah, we won a Cup Winners' Cup in the late 60s, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we went in with that, yeah, but we had no heritage. Arsenal are going into Europe with no European heritage, but also not as the winners of this league. And finally, you haven't been through the heartbreak yet. Like, you have to go. For me, it took us several attempts at.
We've been through the heartbreak, but we never learned, because the heartbreak was there when we couldn't even beat Bayern Munich last year.
Yeah, but it wasn't this.
We go through the heartbreak, but we never learned. You go through the heartbreak and you not learn.
I'm more meaning as well. I'm more meaning this group of players as well. Like, they haven't. Like, you got to think, City's group of players. To
be fair, they must have been embarrassed going out to Bayern Munich. The heartbreak is there. I just don't feel like the progress is there.
Seasons of it. See, like, we had the heartbreak of being 3, I think.
But they're thinking of bringing back Saka, bro.
We were 3-1 up. We were 3-1 up against 3-1 up against Real Madrid on aggregate with 10 minutes left to go. 3-1 up, right? We ended up being knocked out, right? That is the type of heartbreak you need to go through, yeah? And I think this season, you need to go through getting your heart broken by Real Madrid, right? It builds you as a group of players, because it gets you ready. Like, bro, every time I've been to Madrid 4 times now. Every time we go, I just pray that we get a draw and get the fuck out of the Bernabeu. Like, and just hope that we can do something at our ground. So,
I don't see us having any ability. Like I told you, I don't like Arteta's in-game management. I don't know if you saw the second leg against Man United in the cup, where they absolutely cooked us in the second leg. You didn't see Arteta do anything tactically different to change the game and get us back into that game. That's Man United, bro. You can see the state of them this season. So, you know, this manager, he still hasn't worked out Eddie Howe. Couldn't get the 3 points against Fulham. Couldn't get the 3 points against Bournemouth. We lost 2-0. Like, this is the biggest thing about Arteta. If Plan A doesn't work, when Plan A works, to a lot of people that believe in him, he looks like a genius. When things go wrong, bro, I'm sorry, this manager is not it, bro. He's not it. Plus, we don't really have the bench. We don't have the bench.
Yeah. I think
we don't have the bench, bro. We don't have the bench to affect the game. If we're losing 1-0, let's just say 1-0. Let's just say 1-0. Who do you think's turning up? Because Moreno ain't scoring in that game.
Nah. Do you know what? I'll be real with you as well. By the way, and listen, to be clear, I am a Saka fan. Yeah, I rate Saka.
He's a good player.
Will Saka start against Real Madrid? Maybe.
Is he a big game player?
Right,
He's not. He's never proven
He's
himself
not going to
to
come.
be a big game player.
Like, don't get me wrong. Listen, maybe he needs a second leg at the Bernabeu to come on, or to maybe this is the season he shows us. But again, if we're talking about chances, yeah. Prime example is when Madrid knocked us out when they were 3-1 down. Who did they bring on? And who did they bring on who cooked us 2 goals? Rodrigo. Rodrigo, bro. That's who they're bringing on to cook. Yeah. And even now...
Yeah, but a guy said Saka's better than Rodrigo.
Well, bro, but you know what? Right. Saka over the last couple of seasons... But the difference is, bro, you can talk about who's better and you can talk about who are big game players, right?
Exactly.
Rodrigo is a Champions League menace, yeah? And the other thing is with Real Madrid is, bro, Brahim Diaz is having a cold season off the bench, yeah? Off the bench. Like, that's the thing at the moment. Yeah.
It's done out here. When you talk about dark arts, even dark arts at Letty, who are masters of dark arts, you know what I mean, got eliminated by Real Madrid. And they know how to do dark arts to win major honors. Yeah. And even they couldn't pass him. So this is the thing, man. This is the thing, bro. Big up to everyone that's locked in. And make sure you're subscribing to Never a Foul. Let the people know where they can catch you and if you got any shows coming up, bro, today or tomorrow.
I don't believe we have any shows coming up today. Yeah, so you can catch me on Never a Foul, of course, myself, Cass, Monts, and the rest of the football content world. And then also, if you just want Man City content, then you can catch myself, Big Steve, and then all of our City lot over on We Are the South Stand. It's below me now. That's our new channel we started in February. Going well. And just so you know, I am officially from today full-time. So...
Congrats, man.
Well, I got made redundant in it, so.
Okay.
No, it's still congrats, bro. It's still congrats. It's what I wanted. But yes, I'm having the summer off and concentrating on building We Are the South Stand, building Never a Foul, and so, bro, I'm going to be doing a lot of content. I'm going to be basically doing YouTube like it's a full-time day job for the next couple of months. So yeah, man. And it's good to catch up with you. Barbecue this year as well, bro. Barbecue's coming.
No, we've got to, man. We've got to. The barbecue's always...
Barbecue's coming as well.
They always lit. They always lit, man. But yeah, bro, like, for me, I can't lie to you, I just want the season to be done. That's the position that I'm in. You know what I mean? Big up to LB. Even LB said it. What support doing content on your team when your team is not being successful is the hardest thing to do because it stops you get tired of complaining, you get tired of moaning, you get tired of being angry, you get tired of saying the same things, you get tired of seeing the same things. It's the most demoralizing thing. He said it was so much better when City were winning every year. It's easy.
Do you know what's been so mad? Yeah, is overall, I'm pretty humble. Yeah, as a City fan, and over the last 3, 4, 5 years, since I've been doing YouTube, for a content creator that supports a club that has dominated British football, I think I've been pretty humble, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty humble. I mean, at the end of the season, like, you know, I'll brag very briefly, then I'm back to it, But doing Never a Foul and having Monts, every single stream telling me to fetch his ale, and bro, I'm just sat there thinking, do you know what, when we get back there, bro, I'm not humble no more. When we win our next league, bro, everyone is getting it, bro. And I'm an elephant. We don't forget. I will not forget, how every single fucker has loved to cook Manchester City this season,
To be fair, I haven't cooked you.
No, you wouldn't. You're not a mutant. But but every fucker cooking City this season, bro. And bro, your fan base.
You should be happy by that because it shows the level of respect.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Bro, listen,
It shows when they try to downplay you, what they really think about you. You know what I mean?
Bro. But if 100%
celebrating your downfall this season.
If we get Champions League football and we win an FA Cup, yeah, your fan base should be fucking ashamed, yeah. Apart from Liverpool, every fan base should be fucking ashamed if in City's worst season in 10 years, we end up winning an FA Cup and still getting Champions League football. And they are ifs, yeah. Or every fan base that's tried to cook City needs.
When you celebrate the FA Cup, can you put the title, but we had injuries? Because that's the excuse for my fan base. But we had injuries, and then have yourself lifting the FA Cup. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, well, they had injuries.
Oh, bro, that's a mad thing recently, yeah. I was on the stream with a gal, right? Old tight gal. Nothing but love for a gal, but fucking hell, guy. What was it? He basically was saying, like, he said something like, it was talking about maybe Liverpool, and he said, yeah, but they haven't had injuries like us and City. And I thought, bro, what? What are you talking? And even things like he was talking about your injuries, yeah? And he goes, well, we've got through to where we are in the Champions League with these injuries. And I was like, no, hold on, bro. These injuries you are talking about have come since you got through the Champions League, yeah? Don't try and act like this, like without Saka and, you know, the injuries you recently had. I think Saka, Havertz, Jesus, yeah? You would not have floated through to the next stage of the Champions League without them all season. Like, you've only just
We've had our
those injuries,
strongest
right?
midfield for the majority of the season. We've had our strongest defense for the majority of the season. Calafiori was never a nailed-on start. He just literally came in this season. Yeah. So this is the myth. We've had our main goalkeeper. We've had our main defense available. People could say Ben White, but at the same time, people were saying Timber's a better right back than him. Lewis Skelly's better than Calafiori. So really and truly, we've had our strongest defense, really and truly. The midfield, we had a little patch where Odegaard was out, but it wasn't that long. You know what I mean?
Odegaard ain't been good this season, though. Let's be real. Exactly. He's been really fucking bad.
So it's only really the starting three. But then what does that come down to? Squad building. I thought we had a 10 out of 10 window in the summer.
Yeah.
It's a joke, man. For me, ultimately, bro, like, I'm not hearing any of the excuses, bro. A gal tried to come up with these excuses, yeah. But I said to a gal, I said, listen, at the end of the day, yeah, Liverpool had injuries last season and they won the cup and they played youngsters in the final. So why can't we? If we're so great and we're bringing through generational players, Lewis Skelly getting into England, Ethan and that, and I do think they're good talents.
Yeah, they are.
Why is it that we can't get to a final? Why is it that we can't get over the line? Why is Newcastle spending less money than us and they're able to win a cup? Make it make sense.
I'll be real. I'll be real with you, bro. This is what I'm saying about because I do rate maybe not your squad because I think, but I do rate Arsenal. But I just actually, this is where I am now. This is where I think it's risky keeping Arteta on one more season, is because I think the mentality of your club it's at risk to all the great work that Arteta has done. Yeah, is at risk at the moment because it's just excuse FC. And the problem is, yeah, I'm not even going to say it's your fans that excuse. Like I always used to say I remember once, right? You won a game. And a gal came on the stream and straight away was moaning about the referee. And I go, and I think this is the first season you were challenging us, yeah? And he came on, you'd won the game, he came on, straight away he's moaning about the referee. I go, gal, you don't have to be that fan no more, bro. Because my whole thing is, if you basically are moaning about referees' decisions at the end of a game, yeah, that's because your players have not done enough to just get the game won by any fucking means. And I go to him, Gal, you don't need to do that no more, right? Because you are now getting it over the line. Even though, yes, you did get bad decisions. It's good because your squad are going, fuck that. We don't care about that decision. We're just going to work that little bit harder and win, right? I feel like now Arteta is starting to fucking bring back excuse FC. Not even your fans. He's fucking taking the realm of leading the excuses. And how has your fan base got a fucking chance if your leader is the fucking main mutant? He's the one that's coming up with all the excuses for your fan base to run with.
Bro, you're saying words lack context. Now, my mum, yeah, is a foreigner that weren't born here. Has been here since the 80s in England. Do you think my mum knows context? Somebody's telling you that. My mum says, stay school, some booties. My mum says, good afternoon when she picks up the phone. Good afternoon. And she's been here since the 8th. Yeah? This is how foreigners speak, bro. They don't say context.
Good
You've been told
afternoon.
to say context, bro. Good afternoon. She gets to the hello, good afternoon. No, I'm very nervous. She don't even say angry because nervoso in Portuguese means angry. This is how she speaks, and you're telling me Arteta all of a sudden knows about context. Bro, you ain't fooling me, bro. I'm foreign, bro. I grew up with a foreign parent that doesn't speak English 100%. And you're telling me that he knows about context. Am I a dickhead? You know what I'm saying? Nobody in my family says context, bro. You're being fed these things, bro, because it's what the fan base are saying, bro. You know what I mean? This is what it is, man. My mom didn't even say oyster card. She said oyster card. You know what I'm saying? She didn't even know how to say oyster card properly. And you're telling me you know about context. Bro, you can't fool me, innit? You know what I mean? You can't fool me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up foreign. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not hearing any of it.
Too much.
The words that he's saying, context, and he said, what's the other thing that he said? Stimulus. He said he said something. I actually clipped it. He said, guys, we need listen to the shit this guy's saying. Yeah, where is it? Where is it? That flipping waste man. Where is he, bro? Spanish Mr. Bean. Where is he? Where is he? Flipping? What's this? He goes, guys, for the team, we need a stimulus. What the fuck are you chatting about? So you're saying things that don't make sense, like Unai Emery, a stimulus, and then you're saying context. Bro, you're being fed context. You don't know nothing about context. Spell context. I bet you can't even spell context. You know what I'm saying? Rubbish, bro. Absolute rubbish. Bro, I'll be real with you, bro. I'm tired of the ranting. I just want the season to be done, bro. I swear to God, I want the season to be done. I don't want to talk about Arsenal. This is why getting other fans on, speak about your club. I don't want to speak about my club, bro. I'm done with this. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. So people don't think I'm lying. Here we go.
We need that. Yeah. But it's the stimulus that we have, which is great.
He was asked if we need a striker. He goes, it's the stimulus that we have. It's great.
Stimulus, yeah, fuck off. Bro,
I talk about stimulus like it's Viagra pack.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I've lived in England my whole life. I've never used the word stimulus. What the... Bro, where's he got stimulus from? Soups, do you ever use the word stimulus? Kiana! Kiana, come here quick.
What?
Stimulus. No, do you know what it means? Do you ever use it?
No.
Right. How's that? Kiana, see, you're at school, right? She's at school, yeah? See, she gets taught a lot of words. Do you know what stimulus means?
What?
Yeah, what? Right. But Arteta is using stimulus. Yeah, bro, he's being fed those lines 100%.
What stimulus package?
Stimulus like this. Do you understand
What did he
this?
say? Go on.
Is it a stimulus package?
Yeah. But it's the stimulus that we have, which is great.
No, it's a stimulus that we have. That is great.
What?
Yeah, nah.
He's being fed that, isn't he?
He don't know what he's talking about.
She's confused. She's not.
Yeah, she's like, what?
He's using words for no reason.
No idea.
That
Right,
is
I'll be with you in a minute.
Nah, man.
Stimulus, bro, that is mad.
She's confused. She's like, what?
Bro, yeah, 100. You're right. He's been fed that line. There's no way. Who's come up with stimulus?
I don't know, a stimulus. I don't even say stimulus. It's a stimulus. He's a waste, man. I swear that I'm so tired of this guy, bro. I need him out, man. I'm so done. I'm telling you, bro. I'm done with this, bro. I'm done with this. And me and you, yeah, and big up to Daps, yeah. Make sure you're subscribing to Never Foul. Because every single time I come to the barbecue, yeah, these guys tried to put an argument for Arteta. He's tried to give him a chance, yeah. Obviously, it's not his club, yeah, but it is what it is. And he's like, yeah, but North, like you guys are building, and this was like a couple of years, but you guys are building, you're getting more competitive. Bro, even you're getting to the point where you're like, bro, come on.
No, bro. For me, it's like I said, I remember doing a show with you maybe a year or so ago, and I was saying to you, look, he has improved you, yeah. He's changed a lot at your club, right? But I do feel like now all that hard work is being undone. And I think the longer you leave him there now, you're risking that he's going to undo all the hard work. And unfortunately, you're risking him breeding in a mentality into your club, like an excuse. It's okay to finish second mentality, which was never Arsenal. Like, let's be real. When you and Man United were going back and forth, yeah, admittedly, Man United won more leagues than you during that period. However, like you were winning one here and there, right? You can't be like I said, it's a big risk because if you don't win it next season, that's 4 second or third or wherever you finish next season. And bro, let's be real, next season you have to really improve this summer because City will improve. Liverpool.
How far do you think we're away in terms of you? Just position. Don't say players because I know. What position do you think we need strengthening?
It's mad because 2 years ago, you were getting goals across your front 3-4 players, whereas now you're not. Like it's not coming in as much. I can't lie. I'll take the armband off Odegaard. I've been saying this for about 2 years. I don't think Odegaard is a captain, and it's fine. I've never thought that Kevin De Bruyne's a good captain at City, right? In fact, I'd probably say the proof is in the pudding that Kevin De Bruyne is not a good captain at City. Like, he's been part of the leadership group. He's never been the captain. Like, so I'd take the armband off Odegaard for starters. I think you do need a striker now. I think you need a left winger. But I think you need, bro. For me, I think something you need massively, is a serial creator. Like I don't think Odegaard.
That's why I wanted VIDS. But we're not going to get.
If you look at City at their best, you had David Silva and you had Kevin De Bruyne. Now, Odegaard for me is more of a David Silva-like player than he is a Kevin De Bruyne type player. Yeah, he's more of he moves around the pitch and he creates space for others. He's not like he's not like a killer with the assist. And I think, but I don't know. I also think you just need to get one as well. But I think you need one elite creative midfielder. I think that's an issue because like he's obviously trying to get Havertz to be an 8. Well, Havertz is not a creator, right? Rice is not a creator. Odegaard is probably your most creative player, right?
Yeah, Odegaard, or Ethan's done well this season. I think Ethan's been better than Odegaard, to be fair.
Yeah. I think Ethan's been cold.
And all our goals, I don't know if you've noticed this, a lot of our goals are coming from our defensive players. Gabriel this season, Calafiori as well with a goal. Declan Rice chipping in with a couple of goals. Yeah, man. I agree, man. Listen, deep down, I know you don't fear us. That's the reality. You don't fear us as much as you respect Arteta. You don't fear him, innit? That's the difference.
You've slapped us this season. Nah, I don't, because I still think you need to get it over the line. And bro, that's what I'm saying. I'm a strong believer that like it's all about mentality and whatever, yeah. And that's where I was starting to worry for you lot. I think you ain't got that mentality, and that mentality has been building. But at what point is it no longer like, you know what, this isn't working? I think that might be it, that you're going to start going backwards. So,
I hear that, man. I hear that. You guys make the right moves next season. I think you win it. I had you lot winning it this season. I was proven wrong. Fair enough. But I think if you make the right additions this season, I don't believe especially for me, it's nailed on. If Liverpool lose Van Dijk and Salah, there's no player in world football right now that they will, under this regime, they will put the money down to replace them for what they bring right now. So I feel like they will drop off, and they got a lot of squad players that they need to strengthen. So I think it's there for you lot, where you will put the money down if you deem the player of that quality.
Yeah, I think
put the money down.
And this is the thing. Like I said at the very start, we started on VIDS. Well, guess we can end on VIDS. My thing is, it's a must, right? And everyone will go, no, he's going Real Madrid. He's going Real Madrid. They'll say Alonso might go Madrid. He's going Madrid. Listen, right? Real Madrid wanted Mbappe, yeah? Chelsea wanted Mbappe. Haaland. Everyone wanted Haaland. City got Haaland. Why? Because when we really fucking want someone, we get them. Kevin De Bruyne. Every club wanted Kevin De Bruyne. We can throw the kitchen sink at it. And the whole thing is, a few months ago, it was said that VIDS didn't want to go to City, But now it's come out that VIDS is starting to kind of lean towards the City way. Because, bro, when City really wants someone, I think probably from January, Tiki, because Tiki's still here till the end of the summer as our sporting director. Him and the other guy we've got are working hand in hand.
Okay.
And I think he's been over there just fucking flirting with Wirtz and promising him the world, like we did with De Bruyne. So I think we get him. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if Alonso ends up at City as well. I know everyone thinks he's going Madrid, but everyone thought he was going Liverpool as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if City's a bit more risk-free than... Bro, you got to remember, going Madrid, yeah, as a player that is a legend, right, to go back to a club that you're already a legend at, knowing that it is a club that if you do not win, yeah, you get knocked out of the Champions League at Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, yeah, you might get sacked, right?
Yeah.
You go City, you're not getting sacked for being knocked out of... If you're a manager...
Ancelotti's under that pressure and he's their most decorated manager.
That's what I'm saying. And
if you don't win a Copa del Rey or a league or a Champions League...
Bro, you're at risk.
Gone.
You're at risk. And Alonso, and then all of a sudden your legacy, like, bro, people always say, don't go back to an ex, right? Even more so, if you have a legacy at a club, people always talk about the love and the romance side of it, yeah? But also, it could be like, why would I go back? I've got great memories from there. I don't need to go back, especially when I know how they treat their managers. Like, I'd just be gone. And then all of a sudden, my legacy at Real Madrid is ruined. Look at it happens, bro. We've seen it with a lot of people. So I won't be surprised if City get him. I know we're interested in him. So
okay, no, I hear that, man. To wrap up the show, big up Nadir. My issue is how Pep sets up the team, but he deserves a summer window. I know the board will back him, but if he doesn't compete next year, thanks for the memories.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't like it's. I'd try my best. Like, thanks for the memories. Yeah, thank you for everything. And look, maybe it's time for both of us to part ways. But and I think he's right as well. Challenge him. Well, we can't say if he doesn't win it next season, he must go, right? But we need to be back challenging 100%. Yeah.
It depends. It depends. If you guys be bringing in players like Wirtz and players like that, for me, you guys have to be. For me, you have to be winning it. If he doesn't have a proper overhaul, maybe you have an argument for, okay, well, we were competing, we got extremely close, and got over the line. You got one more year, maybe. But then again, you know, it is what it is. I get it. Obviously. Just remember how Arsenal fans held on to Wenger a bit too long. I know,
yeah, I hear it. I do hear it.
But every manager has his day. Not everyone, you know, leaves at the top like Sir Alex Ferguson.
But you got to remember, Bob. But you got to remember, it's only 4 months. We were top until October.
I don't know, bro.
We were top until October
because he kind of created the situation for himself when the club was already ready to overhaul the team. That's the thing for me. The club were ready to overhaul the team and back him financially to build the team. He chose not to. To then get that back in and then not get over the line and get another year, it's like, well, why? Because it's not like this is a team that needs to be completely ripped up. You still got the essence of a lot of players that have won.
Don't know, bro. Don't know. There's quite a lot.
But you still got Haaland. You're not moving on Haaland.
Nah, Haaland.
You still got Stones. You still got Akanji.
Hold on, bro. Stones. Come on, bro. Stones is old.
Yeah, but Stones might not be a starter, but you got Kozinov coming through. You got
but this is what I'm saying. But bro, deep it.
You still got Diaz,
Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. Right, that's 3 midfielders straight away. Yeah, 3 absolute fucking workhorses. Anyway, I need to make a move so we can have this conversation.
No worries. Yeah. Listen, big up to everyone that's locked in. We're gonna redirect to Carefree Lewis. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure, yeah, he's still live. We're going to redirect to Carefree Lewis, Northside Raid on the way in. Make sure as well you're liking and subscribing to Never a Foul. Make sure you're supporting those guys over there. Always good content. And Daps, love for jumping on.
Nah, love always, love. We'll catch up soon, bro. Yeah, man. Well, I'm about 24/7 now, so.
There we go. And we're out, familia. Love, Northside Raid on the way in. Love.